We'd like to welcome Billy Parks, Comic Twitty's longtime friend and bus driver. Hi, Billy. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your family?
Well, I live in Galveston, Tennessee, and been married 41 years, 42 this December, and have 3 kids, and retired.
Retired. How long have you been in the transportation industry?
Since I was about 26 years old, and I'm 75 now.
Nice. That's a long time.
That's a long time, yeah, a lot of miles.
All right, that's another thing. We know that some drivers like to brag about this. How many miles have you driven?
I don't know. I got a plaque in 91 or 92, I guess, for 3 million. So I've done a lot of miles since then, so I never think about that a whole lot, you know. Just
Wow.
I call it
3 million back then?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And
how many types of licenses did you have?
The what?
How many types of licenses did you have?
Had CDLs, Class A's.
Class A?
Yeah, had Class A CDLs until about a month ago, and I turned them in and got a regular driver's license because I don't need them anymore.
Right. And what were you doing prior to joining the Twitty Birds?
I drove for Continental Trailways and run charters for them. And before that, I started out when I was 23 years old driving a truck. Drove it 5 years. I was on Continental Trailways and stayed with them until 1972. I was with them from around 1969 or 68 to 1972, and I went to work for Conway then.
Now, how and when did you first learn about Conway City?
A friend of mine, Jim Webb, we worked together at Continental Trailways running charters, and he told me one day he was going to go work for Loretta Lynn, and he knew the guy that was doing her bus and going to meet the management. And I said, well, good for you. And about 2 weeks later, he said, I heard Conway Twitty's going to sell his jet and buy a bus. I said, well, good for him. You know. And he said, are you interested? I said, not really. He said, why? I said, because I've heard too much about entertainers, you know, and I just don't get into that mess. And he says, well, I heard Conway's not like that. And anyway, I said, well, I thought about it. I said, I can set it up if you want me to. And I said, well, go ahead and set it up. The management company called me and said Conway was coming to town in a couple of weeks in Nashville. And they asked me to meet him. I thought, well, I love his music. I'd like to meet him anyway, you know. So I James Robertson Parkway for Mother Inn over there, and I was just expecting this 6'2" guy going to come down, you know, or meet me there, and I thought this ain't gonna work out too well, you know. And anyway, he came down and I found out real quick he was just a regular guy, and just as friendly as he could be. And we sat there and drank coffee for about 2 hours, I guess, in every Mother Inn. And he told me he would drive his bus. So we talked about a few things that I required, you know, and he said, no problem. And anyway, that's how it all started. So he'd never owned a bus before. And he had a brand new one being built in Columbus, Ohio, custom coach. So it come time, I flew to Columbus, picked the bus up, and met him in Dover, Delaware. And at the airport, he still had his jet. That Twitty Bird landed. Boy, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world, that jet coming in, you know. And he showed me his plane, and we hit it off. We just got along. I thought, well, I'll stay here for a couple of years anyway, maybe a while, and I might move on. I don't know, you know. Well, as time went on, we became really close and fished together and things like that, you know, and say about 22 years.
That was my next question. You worked for him for 20 years?
Yeah, it was 21 years and so many months, almost 22 years, I think it was. You know, it was all good times, you know, and best times were the first 10 years. That was really, really good times.
Yeah.
You know, and
now,
covered the United States, and if he went somewhere, I always went with him. I went to Australia, went to Switzerland, Alaska, Hawaii. Everywhere he went, I was there with him. I watched out for him. Took care of him,
Right.
and we just hit it off really good.
So besides like taking care of the bus, what were some of the other special duties that you did?
Oh gosh, I've done everything from collect money to door to box office money to taking care of classic cars he had. He called me like at 10 o'clock at night. My phone rang at 10 o'clock, it was him. Hey, what's going on? I said, nothing. Anything happened today I should know about? Sometimes I'd say yes, sometimes I'd say no,
Right.
And I even run sound one time, and call lights for a while before we got a production company coming out with us. That was back in the early 70s, 73, 72, 73. And did everything, make sure he was
So
taken
during
care
his
of.
concerts, what were you doing during his concerts while he was performing?
I was usually pretty close to him. I was close to the stage.
Yeah.
I'd watch out for him. If anything went wrong, I was there for him, which happens sometimes. Sometimes it didn't. Most times it didn't, but sometimes it might be a problem I'd take care of. But I always kept my eye on him.
Yeah. Now, when did you guys go from one bus to two?
Pardon me?
When did you go from one bus to two buses?
I think it was about 19 in 81, I believe it was. Got a bus for him and Mickey, and it was just three of us on the bus travel. And Jimmy, the son, started coming out with us too. We'd be on that bus, and had the band bus, and then later on we got a third bus for the crew, and we had three of them in a semi for a while. And it was always fun when Mickey was out there. She made the cookies on the bus, and the bus was built just especially for him and her. And she had her kitchen in the back and all that. I'd be driving at night about 5 in the morning. I'd smell the coffee, and here she come with a cup of coffee for me.
Really?
Mickey was always great to have Mickey out there. She was fun.
Yeah.
Classy lady, class act.
Now, were the Twitty Birds, were you allowed to bring family members or guests to travel with you on the road?
No, we never did any of that. We didn't get started into that. That can get out of hand real quick. Of course, his family would come out. Kathy rode the jump seat for me for years. She said that she had so many hours on the jump seat to be my co-driver, so she slept in that jump seat for years. And Joni would come out, and Jimmy. But as far as family traveling, we didn't get into that because that can get out of hand sometimes.
So your wife never went with you or nothing like that?
Yeah, we was all tied up with work anyway. When we hit a Coliseum or Civic Center or something like that, we was all working. And the family had to just stand by, My wife only came to a few shows. We got married in 75. And in 22 years, she only came to very few shows because I was working, and then she'd be sitting there by herself,
Right.
and kind of stay away from a lot of that. When she came to the show, she would drive or something if it wasn't very far away. Matter of fact, she was at the last show he did in Branson. Well, the next to last show, she was there that night. And the next morning, I made her leave and come home. I didn't want to follow the bus home because that can be dangerous. She left that morning, and time she got back to Nashville, I didn't call her, told her he was in the hospital. It was really strange. But she came to very few shows. She didn't come to a lot of them.
But Conway, he did have his family come on the road?
Pardon me?
Conway had his family come on the road, though?
Yeah, Mickey was out there with us, and Jimmy was out with, he was selling merchandise, and Jimmy always helped me drive some, too, and he was there, and Joni, of course, they was on stage with Conway. She was singing Conway, and Kathy did, too.
Right.
And that was fun times, though,
Do you have any funny stories about Conway and Mickey traveling with them on the road?
Oh, just normal people, you know. She'd cook on the bus. And one funny story Mickey knows about is somewhere in West Virginia, a big park. I always kept an eye on her, too. And I was standing a little bit away from the bus, kind of watching the stage. And I could see underneath the bus, they set up a little hill like, and I saw somebody walking on the other side of the bus toward the door. I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? And when I walked around, somebody opened the door and got on the bus. And Mickey was sitting back there doing something at a table, and she said when she looked up, she saw somebody looking at her. And all she saw was a hand reach and get him and pull him off the bus. So whatever it was, I drug him off there. And
it was just some stranger?
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I got him out, got him off, and got him put out of the park, you know. People sometimes are strange, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a funny time.
She did a lot of cooking for you guys.
Yeah, she'd make the cookies, you know. She'd make a sandwich or whatever, just like she did at home. You know.
Yeah.
They lived in Hendersonville, and I lived
right.
about 3 blocks. I'd go down, she'd make a sandwich. I'd go down to the dock and fish. Sometimes Conway would go with me down there, and it just I was walking like I was home, you know. Mickey was always great.
Now, how about any stories about the kids? Do you have any funny things about the kids traveling on the road with you guys?
Oh, Kathy, I think, traveled more than anyone, you know, and not anything I can remember. One time, Kathy, we was in Southern Virginia, and it was an amusement park we was playing, and between shows, they had a roller coaster over there, and she wanted to ride a roller coaster, and anytime she wanted to do something, I'd always go with her, kind of watch out for her too. And we got in line for this roller coaster, and the line was pretty good. It was pretty long. And we stand there waiting to ride it. I really didn't ride that thing no way. And anyway, I kept looking at the line and the time. I said, Kathy, we ain't got time to ride this roller coaster. We got to get back over there because you're on here in about 15, 20 minutes, and it ain't going to work out. So we left, went back to the stage. The time we got to the stage, the roller coaster had run off the tracks. You know, and
really,
we missed that one. Yeah, that was an interesting day. You know.
Wow.
So we missed that for about like 20 minutes, you know. But it's a good thing we didn't get on it.
Nice, luckily.
Yeah.
Now, after your concerts, who was your co-pilot? And was it different all the time?
It was different. Bruce Crawford, the brother-in-law, he'd help me drive sometimes. And our road manager, Velton Lang, would help me drive once in a while. And Jimmy would help me drive some. And Al Harris, our road manager. Me and him traveled together a lot. Like he would help me drive also. And me and him went to North Dakota one time to flew up there and picked up a new bus that we'd ordered, just a hull. And we drove it back to Columbus, Ohio. And Al helped me do that. You know, because it was a long ways.
Did Conway ever drive?
Oh God, no.
No.
He wouldn't know the first thing about it.
Really?
No way.
All right, so after the shows, you got done with the shows, where would Conway like to stop and eat?
Well, if we was back east somewhere, there's a truck stop in Virginia called White's Truck Stop. They had the chip beef and gravy on toast. He loved that place.
The chip beef?
Yeah, chip beef, and gravy,
Yeah.
Military, they call it SOS,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he loved that place. And if I was back in that area, he said, "Where's that place that I like to eat?" I said, "It's about an hour or two away." He said, "I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, he's going to stop there."
Really?
He loved White's Truck Stop, what it was. And other places was like burger places and stuff like that, and
yeah,
and
nothing fancy.
Mexican. Sometimes we'd stop at Mexican. We had time, and daytime.
Yeah.
But he loved a good hamburger. I mean, he loved a hamburger and a bologna sandwich. That's why
Really?
he wanted those good things. He wouldn't.
Now, how about yourself? What was? Go ahead.
he wasn't anything on fancy restaurants. He didn't like fancy places.
Yeah.
He liked meat and threes and places like that. You know.
Really? And how about yourself? What did you like to eat?
Well, I like hamburgers. I still make fried bologna sandwiches. You know.
Really?
And we eat about the same kind of food. You know.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the burger about the same way. Both mustard, tomato, and pickle. You know.
I guess a lot of years traveling together, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
We like.
Now, what was your favorite place? Did you ever
favorite
place on the road?
I like places, like burger places, stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't have really. That white stove stuff was always good in Virginia. You know, and California always liked to stop at like the taco places, and Texas barbecue. You know.
Yeah.
And according to what area I was in, you know.
And where was your favorite place to visit while you were traveling?
I liked Northern California, like Tahoe, Reno, Nevada, Washington State, Oregon. Was always my favorite. Of course, we went to we made one trip to Alaska. Did played Fairbanks and Anchorage. That was interesting.
Did you drive up there?
Oh no, we flew up.
You flew up, yeah.
We flew up and had two planes take us over from Anchorage to Fairbanks and then back to Anchorage. And then we went to Switzerland. That was interesting too. And did a show of Loretta over there in the Custade, Switzerland. And then after we did our show, the next day we got on a train and we had time to kill before we flew back to the States. We went to Rome, you know, and
nice.
we spent I think 3 or 4 days in Rome. Then took the train back to Custade, and we flew back to the States. And that was interesting. Australia was another interesting place we went. Mickey was on that one with us, and played 5 or 6 cities in Australia. And on that trip, we had to change planes in Honolulu. And I remember he said, "Hey guys, when we get back to Honolulu, we'll stay about 2 or 3 days." He said, "Make this trip up. It's a long flight." And finally got to Honolulu. We were starving to death. We checked in the hotel, and I told the bellman, I said, "Take my bags to the room." He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to find me something to eat." He said, "I'm hungry too." We walked out the front door, and across the street was a girl selling teriyaki chicken on a stick, on a little shed. We walked over there, and we must eat. There was a pile of sticks laying there. We got down. I mean, we eat, you know.
Could start a fire, right?
We were starving, you know. So we spent 2 or 3 days in Honolulu, then we flew back to Nashville.
Nice. Now, who were some of the other artists that you toured with?
Oh, gosh. We toured with all of them. Jerry Lee Lewis, T.G. Shepherd, George Jones, Merle Haggard, Loretta, just Ray Price did a couple shows with us. And didn't do a whole tour. Of course, George and Merle and Conway did the Legend Tour, did a lot of shows with them.
Right.
And T.G. Shepherd did a lot of shows with us. He loved T.G. And Ronnie McDowell did a lot of shows. He loved Ronnie.
Ronnie McDowell.
Yeah. Him and Ronnie. He loved the world of Ronnie and T.G. And so many of them, so many artists, it's kind of hard to. Jerry Lee was always interesting because you didn't know what he was going to do next. You know,
who?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you didn't know what that guy was going to do next. I mean, he'd tear a piano up in a minute, you know. And he was pretty interesting.
Nice.
But we did shows with so many artists I can't name them all.
Yeah.
But one of my big days was meeting Ray Price. I was a Ray Price fan because Ray Price recorded Conway's first song that he wrote. You know, "Want Me Through the Door." Because I always loved Ray Price anyway. You know, I got to meet him.
Right.
And I met some other interesting people, you know, that wasn't on the show with us. They read Skelton at a hotel in Pennsylvania, you know. We did the fair in Louisville, Kentucky, and I got met General Schwarzkopf. Got to meet him. You know,
Oh, nice.
we did a TV special on the Mississippi Queen and had Dick Clark on there with us, Ralph Emery, George Lindsay, Loretta, and I forgot who else. Charlie
Tammy?
Tammy might have been on there with us too, I think, because she flew out. I think she had to fly out. We took the Mississippi Queen up to New Orleans to Natchez, Mississippi, and back to New Orleans. And I think that she had to fly out. I think she might have been with us on that. That's a pretty good while ago.
Yeah.
But that was a really interesting trip. And hear Dick Clark tell his stories, you know, because Conway was on the American Bandstand. He knew Dick for years.
Yeah.
And he sits at the table and tell stories, you know, which was very interesting. I got educated real quick on the rock and roll days. You know,
Really?
what really went on. You know. But a lot of fun times.
Yeah. Do you have any personal stories you want to tell about Conway?
We used to go fishing down in Lake Bruin, Louisiana. Went there for a couple of years. He had a buddy, Sonny Clark, that lived on the Lake Bruin, and we'd go in and spend a week. Me and him would, and we'd fish, and he'd play golf sometimes across the street. I wasn't a golf player, so I didn't play golf. And I'd fish and stay off the dock and on the boat out there. But we'd spend a week there, you know, and that was really good times. And other things, other times, you just in Evansville, Indiana, one night. It was either Evansville or Terry Hall. I think it was Evansville. A guy got a little bit out of hand that got on stage somehow or another, and he said something to Conway, and Conway said something back to him. He signed autographs while he was doing hand stuff to him. And the guy called him the SOB, and Conway come out of the chair and hit him. And the guy didn't move. He just stood there. I thought, uh-oh, here we go. And Cal Smith was on the show with us. That's another entertainer that Conway liked, too. The country bumpkin, Mickey Gilley.
Yeah.
Another one. Anyway, I drop kicked the guy, and he still didn't move. He said no. And, oh, yeah, it got interesting. And it took two policemen to take him down.
Really?
You know, and that was an interesting night. You know, so Cal Smith
That's
grabbed
at least,
Conway
right?
around the waist. Cal grabbed Conway around the waist and pulled him out of the way. You know, you got to get him back behind the curtain, out of the way where the guy couldn't get to him.
Yeah.
And then the policeman took care of the guy then, you know. And that was a very interesting night. You know. But it was part of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, besides being one of the best artists in the business, what would you like the members of Conway Twitty Connection to know about Conway?
He was a normal guy. He wouldn't. The only time he was Conway Twitty when he was on stage. That was it. The other times he was just like everybody else. Wore his ball cap, and he's bologna sandwiches and his hamburgers and stuff like that. Except on the very last, he got on this eating health food on the very last. He didn't eat the stuff that him and I used to eat together. He quit doing all that.
Yeah.
And that's when the change came, you know, with him. And, but
right.
Remember him, best thing for everybody to remember is the only time he was Conway Twitty on stage. The other times he would come off of the bus, and within an hour he was back to his normal self. Because after you come off of the show, you're hyped up and everything, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'd want everybody to. And he always took care of his employees. Always took great care of them. Our piano player was in a car accident, followed me back to Missouri, and he and his wife was in the hospital for a long time. His kids had a bad wreck, and they never missed a paycheck ever. You know, if anybody was sick and they was off from work, I hope that they got paid. The insurance was paid for, 401ks was paid for until the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And
the
401k stopped, you know.
That's true.
And, he was a normal guy. people think that maybe other things, but people who didn't know him didn't really know that he's just a normal guy. The only time he was Conway when he was on the stage singing.
Now, are you still close with his family?
Oh yeah, Mickey and Kathy and Joni. Oh yeah, I talk to Mickey every day, pretty often, and me and Kathy stays in contact. And I hadn't talked to Joni in a long time, but I see her on Facebook. And I stay in contact with her. And Jenny, I don't see Jenny very often, but he lives not too far from me. They only live about 10 miles from me, 15 miles, something like that.
Oh, nice.
Mickey and I had lunch not too long ago together, and getting ready to have another one.
Oh, good. You can talk about the page.
What? What?
You can talk about the Conway Twitty Connection page. I said, look, I did an interview for them.
Yeah, they.
Now,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel that they're honoring Conway?
What?
How do you feel that they're honoring Conway with this page?
I think they're doing good at it.
Yeah.
His birthday was September 1st. And keeping his music going. And I think they're doing good at it. I'm glad they're doing it. And,
do you have any suggestions that can improve it?
No, I wouldn't have any input on that.
No.
Just that keep it like they're doing it, I guess. It seems like it's working. So
yeah.
But my memories, my good memories are from 72 to about 81, 82, which I have memories after that too. But my best memories are the first 10 years. 10, 12 years, something like that. But I never quit watching out for him, no matter what happened, or who was around. I'd still take care of him, even though I had someone trying to come in between that several times, which didn't work out too well for them. But anyway, good experience, But I would never ever drive for another entertainer. I had several after he passed away. I had several of them calling me, and I turned them down. I said no, I'm gonna do something different, And
so you didn't drive for anybody after he passed?
No, I started my own company, and
really?
my own bus, and had it built the way I wanted it. And I started doing corporate trips, daytime trips, no night driving. And,
what do you mean, corporate trips?
Well, I do, like some doctors want to go to a ball game in Atlanta. I'd take them, I did two campaigns. I did 2 campaigns in Alabama. One was Lenore Pate ran for governor. I did the whole state of Alabama for about 3 months with her on her campaign. And after that, the Senate, the guy who was running for Senate, he wanted me. So I took Joe Turnham and took him on a campaign trip for 3 months. Same courthouse squares, I went to with Lenore. And then after that, I got into the music business here in Nashville with record companies. And I'd take new artists out with the record rep to radio stations. That's when they first getting started. No bands, no road managers. To me, in the entertainment business, everything would be going real good. And some road manager or some management company will really mess it up real bad, real quick. So my contact was the record companies, RCA, Capitol, Warner Brothers, Sony, people like that.
Yeah.
Take the artists out, take them to radio stations, and they'd play their songs. Some made it good, some didn't. The ones who made it good were like Sarah Evans and Dirk Bentley, Colin Don Johnson, Rascal Flatts, Chris Young, Jake Owen. And that's when you see them when they're struggling trying to get the radio to play their records. And sometimes they'd have 1 or 2 guitar players with them, but that was it. And I was in the hotel by 8 o'clock at night. And the next morning we'd do the same thing again. And we covered 8-week contract, we covered the whole United States. And I did that 15 years.
Really?
Last one I did started in San Bernardino, California, and we did the West Coast, Northwest, and the last one was in Florida, started in Miami. And by the time I got to Jacksonville, I thought, okay, I'm done. I'm going to sell this bus. You know, so the Henningsons is the one I had outlast Brian and Aaron and Claire Hennessy on Everett Records. I told him, I said, I'm quitting. He said, you ain't quitting. You'll never quit. I said, watch me. You know, I'm done. You know.
So you don't do much of anything anymore?
No.
Well, they still get you out there to go once in a while.
No, I just don't want to do anything else. You know, I don't drive. I got to take the shows, you know, and show my Bronco off. And then we travel a little bit, go visit her wife's family's in California, and so we go there sometimes. And we've been to Hawaii a couple times, and we've been to Florida a couple times, you know, in the Panhandle and Destin. And that's what I want to do. I'm not driving for nobody else. You know, I've been several.
Well, 75. It's time to retire, right?
Yeah, I was retired in 2012.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm done. You know, I'm not doing this no more. I've seen it. I've been there. I've done it all. And the traffic's getting so bad on the highways, you know. And you get, and the record companies, my contract was straight with the record company. It wasn't with any artist or any management company. Of course, I had a couple of management companies trying to tell me how to do stuff. And that didn't work out too well for the management company. You know, the president of RCA, Joe Galani, he'd take care of, I took care of him, he took care of me, you know.
Yeah.
If I
the way
couldn't
it should
handle
be, right?
You know, I didn't listen to no artist or no road manager or no management companies. And that was fun. That was interesting because I learned both sides of the business. The entertainment side with Conway for all those years. Now I've learned the business side of it from the record companies, what goes into making an artist. Okay, I know enough now. You know, okay, I'll be doing
it. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you very much for everything. I mean, it's been great hearing your stories, and I'd love to hear some more. So do you have any extra parting words, any parting stories?
No, just it's really sometimes it seemed like it was yesterday that I had called an emergency room in Springfield. That was a really bad night there. And I've been talking about it for a long time. I couldn't even listen to his regular CD for a long time. Just, you know, because I was with him when he wrote his big hits. You know, like Play Guitar Play. He wrote in front of his mom's house in New Lake, Mississippi. Never Been This Far Before. He wrote in Scranton, Pennsylvania, plenty of shows. Limbo on My Mind. He wrote between Sacramento and San Diego when down the bus. And I was the first one to hear those songs, too. You know, I will never forget
that. Must have been amazing.
It was. He said, hey, Billy, I want you to hear this. And
he wrote so many good songs, just insane.
Oh, yeah, he could write a song, and he could pick a song. He had a talent of picking the right song. He always said, if you don't have, I don't care who you are, if you don't have the right song, you're not going to have a hit record. And he was right, you know.
Yeah.
But, of course, I'm not in Branson, I'm in Springfield. That was a really bad night, you know. And I wouldn't even think about it for a long time. But now somebody talks about it, you know, I can talk about it. I can even talk about it for a long time.
Well, I was told you didn't really want to talk about it, so I didn't bring it up.
Yeah, well, just, sometimes I will, you know, and well,
if you want to share the experience, I mean, I'd be more than happy to hear it.
But what?
Who else? If you want to share the experience, I'd be more than happy to hear it. Who else are we going to hear it from? You know?
Who would know that he was doing a show at 3:00 in the afternoon, and he was signing autographs on stage, and I was handing stuff to him, and he said, "Where are you going to stop at?" I said, up from Branson here, there's a little bitty place, a little small truck stops. They got pinto beans, they got home fried potatoes. He said, he loved that, I did too. He said, let me know when you get there. That's okay. So we got there, I called back there, and she said, he's in the bath, I think he's going to come in. I said, okay, because a lot of times I take the bus to him, because if he went with a lot of people around, they wouldn't let him eat. They just want autographs, you know, and stuff.
Right.
Anyway, I went in and got me a plate of some pinto beans, fried potatoes, and something else. And I had me and the sound man, or me and somebody was sitting there, one of the band members. and I had those pinto beans, and I think, boy, he's going to love these until they're cooked right. And I didn't even get a spoon to my mouth. One of the, I think the sound man, maybe Jimmy Freeze, might have come in and said, Conway's passed out. And I threw it down and told the girl there behind the counter, call 911. I went to the bus, and he was laying in front of the bathroom. And I jumped down the floor with him, and he was conscious. And I said, what's the matter with you, man? He said, I don't know, Bill. He said, my lower back's hurting. And he said, you ever had kidney problems or prostate trouble? I said, no, but you've had kidney problems back in Pennsylvania one night. I said, remember that? I take you to emergency room? He said, yeah. He was trying to get up. I said, don't get up. You're going to lay where you're at, and I'm going to get you to the couch. So one of the band members, Gene Huey, came on the bus, and the bass player. I said, get to his feet, and I'm going to get his shoulders. I put his head in my lap and was on my knees, and I worked him down the hallway. I said, well, you can try to get up here. He was talking to me. He said, well, maybe it's my kidneys. I said, I don't know. Got him on the couch. We laid him on the couch. Paramedics came, and I told him what's going on, you know, and he said they started checking him. They kept on checking him and checking him, you know. And I thought, okay, guys, this is enough. Get him out of here. Get him in the emergency room. I mean, you're not doing anything for him here. So we opened the side window, and they got a gurney got him out. And we went in the hospital over there, and I stopped at the emergency room desk there and signed him in. And I made a joke with the girl there. I said, well, I hope you've got some money. I said, I'm signing this bill here, you know. So I went back there where he's at, and he said, well, my back is cold. I got a blanket and covered his back up, and he said, my feet's cold too, Billy. I said, well, I covered his feet up. They already took blood from him. The girl came back in and said, it's not your kidneys. She said, we're going to take you to MRI. And I said, they're going to find out what's wrong with you. And I said, I'll be right here. And he said, I know you will. And that's the last thing he said to me. They took him to MRI, and they found out he had a ruptured aorta. And then we went to the waiting room out there, and the surgeon came out and looked at everybody. He says, so we walked over. He said, I got some bad news. He said, don't look good. I thought, yeah, he's just saying that, you know. And he's got a ruptured aorta, and we're going to do what we can. And I still didn't believe it. I thought, they just saying that, you know. And we sat back then. I saw a priest get out of a car, walk to a side door, and I thought, this don't look good. And the priest came in.
No.
Yeah, so the priest came in, so when I really got concerned then. So it was like 7 o'clock, 7:30. At 11:51, they brought him out, or about 11 o'clock or 11:30, something like that. They took him back to ICU, and he was on machine and everything. And he didn't know anything after that. After he went to surgery, he didn't know anything afterwards. So we sat there all night with him.
Did he wake up?
No.
He was just out of it, though?
Never woke up after that. And he was on the machines and stuff. And at 7:51 in the morning, Sunday morning, we went to ICU with him, and he flatlined, you know.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that he had
Yeah,
made his surgery all right, but he had a heart attack or something after.
No, the ruptured aorta, when the aorta ruptures, your chances of living is 2%. I went back and talked to the surgeon in Springfield. The surgeon told me, he said, if you got an aorta and it ruptures, you got a 2% chance of living. He said,
why so low? So low?
Because that main aorta, your main aorta, the blood runs out into the cavity of your stomach. He said, the only reason Conway didn't die on the bus is because it ruptured into another vessel and it was slow bleeding. And he said, we couldn't do anything. He said, now if they caught that before it ruptured, then it reverses. You got a 98% chance of living because they put a stent in it. You know.
Yeah, how would you find out if it was going to rupture, you know?
I don't know. Well, they found mine about 3 or 4 years ago. I was testing something else. They found one. I got a stent in my aorta. I got the same aorta he had. It ruptured. I've got, but they put a stent in mine. It's really a unit, you know. And if they found his, they could have done him the same way. He had a physical like 6 months before he passed away, and they didn't find nothing. So I always had
Wow.
questions about that. How do you do a physical, ultrasounds and MRIs and CAT scans and not find anything? You know, I always have a question about that. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's how everything went down. You know,
Wow.
I come in, parked a Tweety Bird bus on the pad there at Tweety City, never drove it again,
Yeah.
and sold it to the Lewis family in Georgia, and they came and got it. And then after that, everything went to hell in a basket. You know.
That's a nice way to put it, right?
Well, all right, happy birthday, Conway, and I'll see you one of these days, buddy.